Welcome back to the GSTL. I am Wolf. With me is Keller. This is the grand finals. LGIM is up 1 point.
1 point so far, and the second player for Team MVP after the Commander got defeated is Naxo, aka Monster. He's the second player here, going up against First.
Yep, Monster versus First will be game number 2. We're about to find out very soon what map has been chosen. Great crowd here in the studio today, a lot of enthusiastic fans, and MVP coach, even though his team is down a game, still looking pretty confident here.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be worried at all. He really feels that Monster is the one to take out First. And it could be the case. If you look at the statistics of Monster against Protoss in Heart of the Swarm, it's not really the guy where you say, okay, he's gonna make it. He has such a sick Zerg versus Protoss. His Zerg versus Protoss is actually a little bit shaky, I would even say. It's only a 56% win ratio for him in maps. But he must have really good results at the team house, and these are the things that we do not really know about. MVP didn't have to play in the playoffs, so they had a lot of time to prepare, and they knew from the beginning that LGIM has a lot of Protoss players, and they said in the last interview that they expected LGIM to win the game against Axiom Acer, and so already started to prepare for them. Yeah. If you know you're up against LGIM, you know you're up against a lot of Protoss players, so Naxo probably one of the snipers.
Exactly, so I expect to see a really cool strat coming out from him. Star Station is the map, so really, really big map, and all spawns possible in this particular version since we're still in the GSTL, and it'll be the last time probably we ever see this map used in a tournament. But it means that it could be, you know, any spawns.
Star Station is one of those maps where, as a Zerg player, if the Protoss goes up to 3 bases, you can really try to take down that third with the timing push. That's what we've seen a lot of times already in the past. Hydra attacks with roaches are very, very common here. You can also go, of course, for a late game-oriented strategy. But it all comes down to what kind of choices First makes here, and what kind of build, of course, Naxo has prepared. He knew that if he comes out, he's gonna face First, so we might see a specific build for this map in this matchup executed by him.
Yep.
And Kenya is still a little bit talking to his teammates, probably not too happy about his performance in game number 1. Yeah. He had that game.
He certainly did. Well, you know, you talked a lot about the attack at the third base, and I think we'll see something like that probably out from Naxo here. This map is a map that the rest of this is really, really far on, but the third base is so exposed, you can't really make a wall or a choke point like you can on Belcher Vestige, for example. Just saying that was a really awesome turn versus Protoss on that sign.
Oh, it was a great starting game for the finals here. That was incredible. I loved that game. So many comebacks. Some small mistakes by both players, and then the other one just capitalizing on it. We even had the base race scenario where we suddenly didn't see a main base for First anymore because Keen was able to take everything out. But then the bottom right fight, that was great. Storms against EMPs, even the nuke being used here. But now it's time for Naxo. It's time for the Zerg here to shine. He wants to take down First, and that is not going to be easy. First, really strong player. And he's arguably the best individual player for Team LGIM right now. The one who made it to the round of 8 in the WCS Premier League.
Wasn't easy. He did fight and clash with Haiba there.
Yeah,
another Zerg player.
Had to go through 2 tiebreakers.
That was insane. He was able to come out there though, and even though he's been practicing so much for that particular match, he's had some time to rest, and I could definitely see him take out another Zerg here. Naxo really has to be on point right now.
Yeah, Naxo, of course, he had the chance to study First play a little bit on the maps that, the LGIM and Protoss played just in the recent past. But we saw what happens if you give a player, especially an LGIM player, too much momentum in such a team match. We saw that yesterday with Yonghwa, who performed the all-kill against Axiom Acer. So MVP will be very interested to take First out before he can gather up that momentum. And Star Station is the map of choice for Naxo. It was formerly known as Monster. We are heading into the game right now. It is the second game here at the GSTL finals. We saw a crazy match between MVP Keen, the starting player for his team, and First. And now we are going into map number 2, Star Station, with the Zerg versus Protoss, Naxo versus First at the GSTL finals 2013 Season 1. So Keller and Wolf. To the top right of the map, we have the Zerg player. Player number 2 for his team after the Commander Keen was defeated in game 1.
MVP Naxo.
Naxo, a great choice here for MVP. Often comes out second or third. Really great buffer player.
up against the Protoss. Cross position to the bottom left of the map. The starting player for his team. He is
LGIM first.
And let's talk a little bit about First and Naxo, especially in this matchup. We said that, we hinted already earlier that Naxo, if you look at his games played in Heart of the Swarm, is not the best choice, or it's not a choice where you say like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. He's a player who has played very solid in the past, especially in Wings of Liberty, when he was able to take out players like MC and bring them down to Code B. But in Heart of the Swarm, offline against Protoss, he just has a 56% win ratio with only 9 maps played, and a lot of those maps were actually in lesser leagues. Right now we have him with wins or with losses against Sora and against Rune.
So wow. His epic pictures with the flipboards with Hirai and his teammates looking like they're actually some sort of gang that kills people. They actually just kill people.
Who was the guy
GSTL?
at the bottom left who had that massive biceps? Who was that? Did you
I didn't get to see it, but this is also equally as cool with all the players' names around the MVP shield.
Yeah, those drawings are getting just better and better. Coming back to the point, by the way, we had Naxo so far only with wins against Choiwon, Chol and Avenge. And First, on the other hand, he defeated so many Zerg players in the past. He has a 58% win ratio, but he played 24 maps already. He took Haiva down twice in those tiebreakers that we mentioned earlier. He won against Lenok, he won against Roro, he won against True. This guy is just crazy, crazy good. His win percentage doesn't even give him enough credit because a lot of those games that he lost were just very at the beginning.
Mr. Che, don't be shy.
Ah, come on, don't pull the Korean girl here.
Mr. Che's putting on an act. He's not shy.
Nah, not at all. Yeah, so if you look at those statistics, Naxo not the best choice, but as we said earlier, we haven't seen him in a little bit in this matchup, and team house results, that's what counts here.
Yeah, for sure. They definitely have something planned here. Fast third base going down at the 4-minute mark. Or just a little bit afterwards, of course. Doesn't quite have the resources as he's adding that queen right now. There it goes down. 4-4-10, and we just had a pretty normal expand for his opponent First here, who, like you said, really, really strong in this matchup. He's beaten some really big names, including Haiva.
Very standard opening here for both players, indeed. The Forge First usually goes up against an early triple or double hatch for the Zerg player. And the Zergling at the front on a map like Star Station, you want to get those scouting information, and it's actually a really great position for him. He doesn't know about the probe on the map, that's an issue, he should try to scout for that, but he at least knows exactly when that Forge is starting to spin. If he doesn't lose the Zergling here, that is. So that's what he wants to try to find out. And we need to find out what exactly Naxo is trying to do, what kind of tech we're going to have for him.
Yeah, so far has taken no gases, just getting some extra minerals, getting an extra queen out right now, going to his third.
Yeah, his gas will most likely go up in roughly 40 seconds. Usually you get the double extractor by then, and then we will see the immediate move into layer. Would be surprised to see the speed for the Zerglings before that. And yeah, the choice is of course then an important one. Do we see a Mutalisk commitment? Are we just going to see a very standard play going into the Hydrolist, maybe even with a fast Hive tag or something that Snoo does very often against Protoss to get those Vipers out early? Could see Swarm Hosts.
Yeah, anything is possible here. What would be unlikely is that we see something really, really normal. We are at cross spawn, so the rush distance to the third base even further than it could be. He's on pole position here with this Overlord. This, I was going to say, I don't think this is actually going to end up being a critical mistake, but, well, you know what? He can actually still potentially get that. I think he may very well. Yeah, I think he does.
He's going to get the Overlord. That is annoying. That was
really
a mistake.
That's one of his only 2 Overlords he has to scout here. The second one can easily be repelled.
Thing is, it's already on 3 bases, so it's not that big of a deal. It would have been worse, but he's gonna lose another one. He wants to get the scouting. The problem is not really losing the Overlord and therefore losing the 100 minerals and the lava and also the supply. The bigger problem here is losing the scouting
losing the scout.
Because right now, he doesn't have a single Overlord anymore at the bottom left.
He doesn't have any Lings either. The 2 Lings that were there, which saw the +1 by the way, are thinking, okay, a +1 time has come out. He starts a Roachborn and speed, but in reality it's a really risky third, so he has the complete wrong impression here.
Yeah. I was mentioning earlier that he wants to go into the lair tech first, but he's going for the speed here because, as you already said, he doesn't really know what's coming. And with that third phase, there is no immediate danger, but because he lost both Overlords at the bottom right, bottom left, he has no scouting. There is another unit that is trying to come over here, and then he will find out that there is actually a third base being built, so he won't heavily commit to anything unless he wants to really barrel down on that third now. But he already started his tech fairly late. But I wouldn't be surprised to see it coming up.
Yeah, exactly. See, he starts 9 roaches here because the Roach Warren, he didn't have to use it here, but he's making 10.
Yeah, but the thing is, we have 6 gateways now being completed, and with 6 gateways, you can just get your units in. You already have the +1 attack upgrade, so Zerglings should not be a big issue. The cannon is up there too. Lair tech goes up as well. I would have loved that to see a little bit earlier. I just don't think that with his army he's going to be able to do too much, at least not if it's scouted.
He won't have roach speed either, so his roaches are going to take forever to cross the distance. He's got the mothership core for the overcharge.
It was actually scouted. If I'm not wrong, then there was at the Zalnaga Watchtower unit, so he saw that there are a couple units on the map. But he needs to start his warp-ins. He really needs those.
He needs some sentries here. He needs to make sure his mothership core does not hesitate to put down that photon overcharge. The force fields are everything. There's only one cannon.
I don't think that he realized what is happening there. He only saw a few units, and I think he has the wrong assumption. He doesn't think that that Naxo is going to commit. If he knew that, he would have warped in earlier, and I think that would have been a good position for first. But right now he's going to be surrounded. He needs those force fields, and he needs
way
them
too
fast.
late. Way too late. All of his sentries being taken out by Zerglings here, and this is a great attack for Naxo. He's doing so much damage.
What a slaughter! He takes all those sentry out. There's only one left, and those roaches, they move in. They can take down that cannon easy peasy, and the one photon overcharge is most likely not going to be enough. He needs more units. He already lost so much gas. This was horrible for first.
Was horrible for first. The worker count right now, though, relatively even between the two, and 32 more Lings on the way, so he really wants to continue to do this damage. First lost a lot with all those sentries being gone, all the gas gone, but he still has 3 bases. He didn't take any economic damage here.
I did not think that Naxo would be able to do so much damage. I really thought that first with the Zalnaga Watchtower has seen enough to just get those units out. He had the time, he had the production, and he had the money, but he got upgrades, he got more probes. He did not realize what was happening, and even when they were in vision, he didn't see them. Losing all the sentries is horrible here.
That was more so first mistake than Naxon's triumph. And he doesn't have a full wall here. There are 2 cannons, but will it be enough? I don't think so. He's going to lose the first cannon right away. A few units warped in, but the rest of his units are as natural.
And here come those roaches. They are trying to flank the army, and this is the problem that first has. He cannot get everything here. The Zergling still trying to take down a few of those probes. He doesn't go straight for the Nexus on the other hand, so first is really trying. He's falling behind in supply. But still,
he loses almost nothing here. Now. Yeah, he loses basically only the photon cannons and maybe 1 or 2 probes.
You know what I would have liked to see here was an immediate snipe of the Nexus once that he was in the mineral line, trying to go down with Zerglings and roaches, take out the Nexus and move back, get his own economy up in the tech. I love the transition into Spire, but I really think that him taking out the 3rd base would have been much better for him than trying to fight the actual army.
He actually cancels the Spire and goes into an infestation pit here. So Vipers seem to be more likely than Swarmos in this particular case, but we'll see.
Draws now, and this is something that first cannot face
just yet. He needs to run away. Recall. Beautiful. That was the only thing he could have done there. Force Fields would not have worked. He goes to the natural.
If not for the recall, he loses his entire army, so that was very important. But speed for the Hydralisks is done, and they are 22. Not a single Colossus, no Storm. And there are just, as you said, so many Hydralisks that it's very unlikely that first can withstand this much pressure. He needs the perfect force fields.
The perfect force fields. And the Zealots are stuck in the back here, not able to do a whole lot.
No Hydra range.
No Hydra range at all. It's only halfway done. Not even halfway done at this point in time. And first, trying to stabilize here, but there just may be too much DPS.
Too much. There's just way too much DPS. He's moving in, Naxo that is. He's moving into the natural right now. The reinforcements moving in, and he takes down sentries and stalkers alike. First is doing what he can. He actually is still at nearly even supply, and
because
he's killing Zealots at the top right.
Yeah, he's killing all the workers at the 3rd base of Naxo. Right now, the worker count is 68 to 48 in first's favor. If he can hold this pressure, he will stabilize.
Wolf, I don't think he can, though. He doesn't have Colossi. He doesn't have the tech that he needs. That's his problem. If you go up against Hydralisks, you need Charge Lodge, you need Storm, you need Colossi, you need something, and he doesn't have that.
He will have Blink, and +2 is just now finished. Blink is done as well. I actually feel if he micros properly, he can hold this. He still has a 3-base economy. He has so many gateways. This is all about the force fields and the Blink Stalker micro here against the Hydras. Now he goes to the 3rd base. The cannon's doing work.
I don't like the position that Naxo takes here. I don't really like this too much. Here comes the Time Warp. Those Hydralisks are way too exposed. He's trying to go at the economy again, but look at all those units trapped to the left side. The Hydralisks are just not where they have to be. They have to be behind the Roaches and Zerglings.
Exactly. They need to have the Roaches tanking. They do the damage from behind, and right now, First takes a supply lead, pushes this back, and First, one comeback after another here so far. He takes this lead, and he has great economy right now. Pathogen Glands has started But look at the army of First. The army supply is in his favor as well now.
That was a mistake by Naxo. That didn't make any sense what he did there. I think he panicked a little bit in this situation. If you have this many Hydralisks and you don't have Storm or Colossus up against you, you know that you can do a lot of damage, especially against gateway units. But he moved his army or his Roaches and Zerglings into the mineral line, and then his Hydralisks were exposed. The force fields for First were great. First actually identified this problem and he took advantage of it. He force fielded those units to the left, the Hydralisks were exposed, and suddenly Naxo realized that his army is in a lot of trouble. Had to move back, and that is when First blinked in. So great comeback here by First, but Naxo could have managed this a lot better. He had the momentum going for him, but now he lost it.
Yeah, he lost it for sure, and he's a little bit concerned about what comes next. As you can see here, he's not actually adding the Colossus tech because he's not 100% sure whether he should be or whether he's going to be facing a Mutalisk switch. He knows that Naxo has to be feeling a little bit desperate right now. He just doesn't know what the tech is going to be. Infestors is what it is, and he does have the Pathogen Glands upgrade. But, you know, Infestors actually, with this many Hydras, if he gets good fungals, can help him hold. The Hydra army is spotted, but First is going to the top. He has a forward pylon. He has right now 10 gates. 10 gates, 3 bases, and a +3 is on the way.
Wolf, it's not only about holding here, he could destroy this entire army. Keep in mind that we don't have a lot of Zealots with this army just yet, and Hydralisks are strong enough as it is, but if those Zerglings actually start to get close contact, then it's going to be tricky. Oh, wow.
The production, though, Keller, as you can see here, he has so many force fields as well. I feel like this battle may be decided by fungals.
I completely agree with you. If he can negate those force fields somehow, if he is able to take down those sentries, it would be a really good battle for Naxo. But still, with this many Stalkers, this is an incredible amount of them. And Naxo is actually so happy at this point that he did not commit to Mutalisks.
Yeah, right now, you know, he could actually just walk away. He has a Robo on the way. He doesn't have to commit to this attack. First, that is. He could start a 4th, and there's the 4th. 4th is started, but he can still try to fight this army.
Oh, what a clutch blink.
Those sentries are all in a clump. He would love to force field that. He gets one group of Stalkers, but it's not enough.
Yeah, it's not enough for now. And he would like to engage on creep. That's the one thing that he would really love to. But you know what we have now? We have so many additional Hydralisks, and if those come out, we have a 200 supply Zerg player. And I don't know, with a good battle, this is going to be such a close game now.
This is so close.
And Naxo is probably just being so annoyed in the booth right now. He knew that he had this game after taking down so many sentries. He should have won it. He was in a leading position, but First, so resilient. He hit the force fields that he needed to, and every single time he saw a weakness in his opponent's attacks, he exploited it immediately and took down that army. So First, coming back here, making that comeback happen. And Naxo, he has to worry about the transition in tech for First.
Yeah, the transition is underway. The second Robo is nearly done. He's just going to switch into Colossi.
Nice,
and this run-by is going to target the hatchery. And with +3, he should absolutely get the hatch. There's no queen nearby. The army is way too far away. This hatchery is long gone. Meanwhile, he's actually going to trap some of First's units. Or rather, First is going to trap some of his units.
Well, he's trying to save that hatch, but that is just not going to happen. The 4th is down, and now Naxo finds himself in a very peculiar situation. He is
so
down
desperate right now.
base. He has a big army, but he's down a base. So what is he going to do right now?
He switches to Spire, but his tech is definitely not where he wants it to be because he's going to be facing double Colossi here.
I think he should try to muscle his way through here, as long as there are no Colossi. I think he should really try to pull
He has the, right now, before the Colossi are out, he has the much better composition if he can take a straight-up fight. He's trying to switch to some Swarm Hosts here, and to be honest, I don't like that all too much.
The problem for him really being he doesn't know everything. He doesn't know what's going on. We have the perfect vision here. So we have the 2020. He doesn't have that. Goes into Spire. But now it's starting to actually shift in favor of First. He's starting his run-bys. He's taking out Queens. He's doing a great job here. But I feel really that the best chance for Naxo would have been to attack this army before the Colossi out. With all those Hydras, with all that DPS, even against the better upgrades, with good fungals, it would have been a clutch fight, but he could have won it.
He could have won it. I mean, now he's missed that window. Now he can no longer do that. With 2 Colossi, soon to be 3 and 4, now he has to hope for an incredible miracle. The problem is he's on the wrong team. And Charge is coming out here. Additional cannons, the additional gates. This is almost hopeless for Naxo right now. We're looking at a maxed out Zerg army that's going to disappear in less than 10 seconds when this fight happens.
Look at those upgrades. +3 attack and 2 armor. Naxo should really have engaged here. He cannot make this happen without a single upgrade on his board now. Doesn't have armor, doesn't have attack.
He's got nothing
I
here.
don't know. This is heartbreaking for him.
This is going to be a disaster.
If he loses, his team has to look for their most valuable player today.
Yeah, I think so. And the engagement's going to start. A few Locusts coming out here, but it's not enough to turn the tide of battle. Not even close. The Colossi are fumbled here, but they just have so much DPS. The upgrade's really showing. And Noxo, he is so desperate, but there's nothing. I mean, literally nothing he can do.
On the run, a blink forward, the swarm hosts are gone, and all those infestors are already on the run. We have such great upgrades here for first, and they are coming through for the Protoss player.
Zealot run
Another
by
round
again.
of run-bys going in, another forward pylon. This is Noxo just in a chokehold right now.
He's waiting to die. He is waiting to die right now, and First is ready to kill him. He's not going to hesitate anymore.
Where's
There's so many stalkers. 39.
Blink? He's blinking back. I actually could have seen him blinking forward here.
Yeah, he wants to be careful against the Hydras, but he doesn't really have to anymore. Here come the infested
force
Terrans.
field! What great force fields trapping all of those infestors!
Noxo is dropping in supplies so rapidly here. Like I said, his entire army disappears in 10 seconds.
Here come those blinks, the upgrades coming through. Bye-bye, Noxo. GG! First takes the victory. Again.
Two games in a row. First has his second, and Kaldor, I think the MVP coach has got to be having some echoes of worry. He watched two teams die to all kills from two different players, and it looks like First wants to get the third one. MVP coach, you can see that nodded head there where he's like, all right, that's okay. We still have 3 more players, but definitely not in a comfortable position. They're not out yet, but I find the coach, I don't even know what emotions go through my head right now watching it. 2 players die so handily, especially with the comebacks that we saw from First. You know, in both games he was down.
That's when you actually start worrying in this situation. When you are down 2 games already, especially since LGIM has really a history of all killing up. Think about what would happen if they all kill for the 3rd time in a row. That would be just incredible. And that's exactly what First wants here. And Noxo, he's not happy at all. He knows right now that he should have won it.
Yeah.
Taking down all those sentries at the beginning. If you put any Protoss player in this situation, every single one is going to tell you, okay, this game is basically unwinnable. If you lose this much gas, this many sentries, you lose your defense. You can most likely not even hold your 3rd base, and even if you do, you're so much behind in tech. But First, he had all those disadvantages, and he still was able to come back in the game.
Yeah, it was a lot of Noxo's mistakes, and First capitalizing all of them with the force fields or the time warps, you know. And Wings of Liberty, this might have been different without the photon overcharge that you can see on the Nexus and things like that. But First just holds, he stabilizes, and Noxo committed all of his resources into attacking. He had very few drones, he didn't have a lot of larvae, and that 3rd base was never killed. He always had the basically full mining there, maybe 4 or 5 probes killed at a time, but always having that 3rd base, better saturation. Who's it going to be now for MVP? Who's the 3rd player?
Noxo also always split his army. A few to the natural, a few to the 3rd. If he would have just attacked 1 point, I feel he could have won this. At the beginning, he didn't snipe the Nexus when he had the chance, and then later on we saw him sending a few roaches to the left. His Hydralisks, that was his biggest asset, and he did not really capitalize on those.
Yeah, he had a window, but he didn't know it, or even he didn't know that he was too nervous to try to go for it. He knew that maybe he loses the fight with all of his Hydras, so he was a little bit nervous about that, but he missed his window. Then the Colossi came out 4, 5, 6 with 3, 2 upgrades versus no upgrades.
And First, with all those upgrades that you just mentioned, he never stopped with them, and that's what won him the game in the end. These upgrades were just incredible. Now we have to find the 3rd player, and this has to be the guy who not only takes out First, but he needs more wins.
He needs multiple wins here. He needs to get multiple kills, at least 2. If he gets 3, he can even the score. But that's what MVP wants here, to be able to get these points on the board. Because as it is, the momentum is growing for First. It's not just about, well, he has 2 points. He has 2 points, and now he's feeling like he's the king of the world.
And the question is also, which race do you send out? Do you want to go up into a Protoss versus Protoss? Do you send out a player like Tails who might have a build prepared? They knew that they were up against a lot of Protoss players, but still, they already lost 2, and 2 of their most important ones. Keen, the starting player, was the player that LGIM was afraid of, and he's gone already, didn't do anything.
Helder, this is the one time where I don't really have a pick. If I'm the MVP
I have
coach,
no idea.
His plans are all thrown out the window. He has to call upon his team. We might see even somebody like Noble S coming out here. It could be anybody. Really,
we could
anybody.
see Sniper, maybe DIG suddenly has the craziest results in the team house, and he's the player that his team relies to. He has the experience, that's for sure. So if it's a matter of nerves, then we might actually see him. Sniper, a former champion, also a player that we could see here. So many great players on this bench. Could be anybody. Who feels up to the task? Who feels up to the challenge? And it is.
It's going to be Dream.
Good choice.
Good choice indeed.
Another Terran player, though.
Another Terran. Well, Dream, I like the choice, but he has to stand up to the heat right now. He's a young player. He doesn't have as much experience as some of the other ones. I would say he has about as much booth experience as First, but First has played in the big leagues. He's played in front of crowds all over the world, and he's an older player. I mean, he just literally is older. And so as long as Dream can keep his nerves in check, I could see him taking this one, but he has to be on fire. He has to play the best that he's ever played. Because right now the momentum is definitely in LGIM's court.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Look at this. I mean, he's only played in GSTL in all of GSTL history one time, and he lost.
Dream, he has the entire weight on his shoulders now. He has to take this game, and this is not going to be easy at all. First has gathered up that momentum. He's in a very good position. It's the same with Youngwa yesterday. 2 players already all killed for LGIM in the playoffs, and First he wants to be the 3rd. Dream has a decent record against Protoss. He's 61% with 18 maps played. His last opponents that he faced were Beach and Mad Bull in the Code A qualifier, the WCS Challenge League qualifier. He won against Paralyze in Code A. Before that, he took out opponents like Grubby, and also he lost to First already once in that was actually in March. Back in March, he lost to First in the best of 3. This time, he has to take it.
This time he has to do it.
If he doesn't win here, then I'm very, very scared for Team MVP.
Yeah, if he doesn't win here, the possibility of an all-kill doesn't look like a possibility. It looks like a likelihood. Well, Derelict Watcher is the map that Dream has chosen, that MVP has chosen to put Dream out on. And right now, LGIM coach is just crossing off names because they've already taken out 2. And they're looking at this going, okay, our plan was this and this and this, but now we've killed more than necessarily we expected, and now we have to deal with this Terran player. They have the momentum right now, really going for him in the all-kill format. That's really, really so important.
Nesty is smiling, and he has every reason to. LGIM is up 2 games.
Yep, 2-0 so far for them, and Dream's got to get himself set up here in the booth. But Dream is a player who, well, the one thing that sticks out to me, especially for him in this matchup, is his drop play in the late game. In the late game, he will drop you 4 different places, kind of like what we saw with Yoda in the late game in Terran versus Zerg. He just does not stop. He's always going to drop somewhere or run by somewhere with a group of Marauders. He's going to drop Hellions in your base maybe in the early game. His drop play is phenomenal.
You know, we actually talked about it at the beginning that we expect a very long, drawn-out series between those 2 teams. At this rate, First, if he takes it right now, I would not put it past him to actually perform another all-kill, and that would probably be the most incredible storyline ever. LGIM struggling a little bit in the regular season, qualifying on their last day for the playoffs, and then from 4th place on out, taking down every single team that they face with an all-kill. That would be insanity.
That would be insanity, you know, the all-kill trio would be... And
they went full Super Saiyan this season, or at least in the playoffs.
Yeah, something broke there, and these players are just phenomenal. The training regimen that's going on in that house, the motivation the team has, that momentum they have getting all-kill after all-kill after all-kill, you can see it in these games, and I cannot stress enough that First is behind in both of these games. He was behind, and he won them, and it made it into the games, he crushed the win. Here we go. Dream has to be the man. He has to be the guy right now, because if he loses this, then MVP looks like they're in an unwinnable situation. Just down so far. It will have a mountain to climb.
First with a 2-0 so far. Dream with the weight of the world on his shoulders. The Relic Watcher of the map. Set number 3 is coming up next. Once again, a Terran versus Protoss. A matchup that First already played today in our opening match when he defeated Keen. He was behind, but he fought his way back into the series and then took it. Now we are going into the 3rd match of the day. And MVP, they have to win it here. If they are down 0-3, it couldn't be any worse for them. Now we're going into the game at the GSTL Finals in the Season 1 2013 Color on Wolf.